Especially let the arms be placed in a position of openness, a position that helps you feel like you can breathe really good. And that also just feels good and open for the shoulders. It doesn't feel so closed off. Oftentimes we take on this kind of hunched forward position, especially the shoulders will roll forward. When I see people walk around like that, I almost feel like I can diagnose them with something that I'll call Atlas syndrome. So Atlas was from Greek mythology. He was the one that had to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. And as you look at statues of Atlas in that shape, it's very much like a hunched forward position. You can tell that he's straining, that all sorts of muscle groups all over his body are trying to stay in that contracted state to try to not drop it. And it just doesn't look comfortable. It doesn't look like a position that I'd like to be on all day, every day. And so that Atlas syndrome, I think that people literally sometimes, or I guess metaphorically, take on the weight of the world onto their shoulders. Like mothers, sometimes at work we do that to ourselves. We feel like it will fall apart if we don't hold everything together. Sometimes it's with our families or even other scenarios. Sometimes it's our friends that we're trying to hold up. And so when we take so much responsibility on ourselves, sometimes our body really will suffer from it. We take that same Atlas shape and our shoulders and our back and all sorts of other areas in our body just are tensing up to try to keep everything there. So today, I give you permission to not be Atlas. I give you permission just to be yourself, to just have to breathe. And if any of the world is still resting on our shoulders, any of that weight, in our class today, let's see if we can kind of ease some of those muscle groups up so that here we're just being in the present moment. We're not taking on the weight of the past, not the weight of the future. We're just here in this moment, and we're only looking forward to whatever the next step is that we need to take. So with that kind of ease, with that permission to release the weight of the world, that will be what helps to begin our practice today. So just start off a really good inhale. A good relaxing exhale. Getting that breath started is so key to this release that we're seeking for. Good. So here we will start to take the knees in toward the chest. What I want us to do today is place a hand onto each kneecap. And a knee is going to pull out. That will naturally tug the shoulder kind of forward into its most stretched forward position. And that should give you a little tug, a little pull into those neck and shoulder muscles. So then when you relax from that side, let the other knee pull until you're feeling that shoulder in a good little stretch. Sometimes I'll kind of tilt my head to help it out. Do this several times. You could always have like a circle of the knees right in between each tug. But just give it more and more time, lots of space. Just keep on easing, keep on relaxing the shoulders and the neck. Maybe one more good cycle to each direction. And then give permission for the knees to just fall all the way over to the left. The arms will start to spread open left and right. Take that good stretch. And just enjoy some deep belly breaths. With both knees over to the left. And this nice twist. Perhaps give this right shoulder permission to really stretch out long to that right side. Feel that really good reach. Pulling the pecs, those shoulder muscles. It's an easy reach. Getting the upper back involved here as well. Let's take 2 more breaths on the twist on this side. And that second breath, return onto your back and start to ease the knees to the other direction. Take time, take patience, take breath to start to melt that direction. Nothing forceful. And remember to include the upper arm, so the left arm is really trying to reach out nice and far. How the breath wants to flow, really helping in that stretching process. So we'll take 2 more breaths on this side as well. After that second breath, return your spine onto the ground, planting both feet. And let's walk the feet out about as wide as the mat. Arms are just comfortable, still staying nice and spread open to left and right. We'll take a few nice, easy windshield wipers. So both knees fall to one direction. They pick up, and we take it to the opposite side. Just keep on switching, left and right. Take 1 more to each direction. We're back right here in the center. This left foot makes its way back into the middle of the mat. Right thigh crosses tightly over the left thigh. And then right elbow is going to wind under left elbow. If you can do the full palm wrap, that's great. If not, that's okay. Just place the backs of the hands together. We'll take a moment to focus on the shoulders. So try to get the shoulders to press away from where the ears are and to drop really far down. From there, as long as the shoulders can still take more, the fingers, we try to get those fingers to find the floor right above where the head is. So for me, when I do those 2 motions, shoulders down and fingers above the head, it brings my shoulders into a really deep stretch that I don't always find in other ways. Feel those shoulders stretching, feel the breath flowing with ease into the belly. And allow arms to open back up on the floor, spreading open to left and right. Let's allow the legs to fall over into a twist again. This time the legs are in that crossed shape. So knees tilting over to left. This pulls the hips and the back into just a slightly different spot than we found earlier. So again, nothing forceful, just let gravity start to take over. The knees don't have to touch the ground. There's no requirements. This is only the amount that it takes to feel good things gently open. Another breath, flow all the way into the belly. And releasing it out. Left spine returns back to the floor. Now we take the right leg onto the rest on the ground. Left thigh does that crossover. And then this time when the arms wind, left elbow is under. Maybe palm wrap or maybe backs of the hands just kind of rest together. See if you can get that same shoulder stretch where shoulders press down away from ears. And then fingers try to find the floor right above the head. Returning to that sensation of belly rising with the breath. Such a deep breath to help us take off all the cares that have been resting on our shoulders. So let's get rid of those. Returning to this present moment, this moment of the now. Let one more breath flow to belly. As that exhale begins, arms start to spread back open, wide on the floor. And the knees take that chance to twist over to the right. Easy shape. Easy breath. Here, another breath flows deep in. That exhale, we start to take the knees up, uncross. And we'll take a nice, easy, happy baby pose. If grabbing feet is pretty difficult, don't stress about that today. Just grab onto shins or calf area. If you can grab onto the feet, help the knees get pulled wide. And whatever our grip is, we're gonna do a little pulse a couple of times. So first, our grip helps to pull the knees a little bit wider. That will help our hips to stretch. And after that, we do the opposite. So then the feet push up until the arms are kind of jutted forward in a little shoulder stretch. So do 2 or 3 more of those pulses, pulling into the hips. And then pushing the shoulders into the stretch. Maybe one more. Then have a little bit of freedom. Maybe it feels good to rock on your back. Maybe it feels good to straighten one leg all the way up toward the sky. And switching out. Take it just a couple more breaths. Whatever feels helpful, whatever feels good, that's what we're exploring. Beautiful. And that feels pretty complete. Allow yourself to just drop the feet back to the floor, drop the arms open. And here we're going to take a few rounds of the lion's breath. So in our lion's breath, the focus is the exhale, even sticking the tongue out. So with that breath, it's like we imagine all the tension, all the weight of the world that's been on us, and we let it ride out. So we'll take a deep inhale together. On that exhale, just stick the tongue out, let it go. We'll do 5 rounds back to back. Inhale now. One more big one. Good. And then just resting back to an easy breath. Let your knees fall over to a fetal position on one side. And just feel that sensation of release. Feel how easy the back is. No stress, no tension on our shoulders, just ease. As we start to press our way up toward a seated position, we'll take cobbler. So bottoms of the feet make their way together. You choose if this is further or closer to your body. It's really personal preference. But as we start to let our spine round forward, the big thing we're focusing on is shoulder blades. Just let them have as much space as possible. So spreading away from one another, just dropping open and down. Head is dropping down, very heavy. And take some intuitive movements if that starts to come up. Maybe you're noticing neck tension and just letting the head rock. If that would be helpful, take it. Maybe stillness, that break after so much effort today. Maybe that's what would be more helpful. Starting to rise up with ease. Allow the right leg to open out to a nice wide angle. We'll start off with the right hand planting on the inside of that right leg. The left shoulder pulls back. And then from that alignment of the spine, start to take the left arm up and reach it over. This is not only helpful for that shoulder, easing into some of that tightness, but it's good about getting into some of the rib areas and other areas like that that need it. One more deep breath in. Out to lift us up. Once we're up, find the floor in front of you. Start to ease your way back down. It's personal preference here. You could stay in the forward position, or you could walk your way a bit closer to that right leg if that feels like that would be more helpful. It's what your body's asking for. That's where we're traveling into. Starting to ease our way back up, we'll switch out the legs. When you're in that shape, we'll take the second side for the shoulder first. So left hand rests down. This right shoulder pulls back to open up, and then let that arm reach up and open. More easy breaths. With the next exhale, we'll rise, find the floor, and sink our way down. Again, you have that choice if you want to go closer to the straight leg. Another good inhale. Exhale. As we find the floor, walk our way back in. Taking the legs in, we just want to find an easy, comfortable seated position. So we're going to do a couple of motions. These are kind of therapeutic to help loosen up some of the tightness that's in our shoulders. So the first one, we start off with arms floating to left and right. You imagine that there's a big ball that you're tracing your hand around. So when you trace forward, the thumb goes down. Let yourself go all the way to the really rounded forward position. And then circle all the way backwards until your heart starts to arch up. So we'll work all the way forward and backward through that shoulder joint. So take it a few good rounds. Rounding forward and then circling up. Good, let's take one more of these to each direction. Let the arms rest on the thighs for a moment. Take a good inhale. And then exhale. From there, clasping hands together, flip the palms up. And this is almost like a backstroke. Our right elbow circles back, and then our left elbow circles back. Just Easing all those muscles around the shoulder joint. Good. One more each direction. Then pause with bent elbows right above head. And just let the hands travel backwards a few more inches. That'll stretch the front part of the shoulder out. Nice inhale. Exhale, release. Find the floor behind you, and we'll walk the hands backwards until you're in a nice, easy, this time restful stretch. So the idea is you do want a straight line from hips to shoulders. So if it starts to collapse, that's a sign that maybe we went a little too far. Walking pinkies together is deeper, but your shoulders are the ones that will tell you how much to do that. So go to that spot where it's a perfect stretch. We'll take a couple of really restful breaths. Another inhale. Exhale, we're up. And just a few more seated stretches. If you want to change the cross of your legs, that could feel nice. We're going to take the right hand to the base of the neck. The left hand will grab the elbow and try to pull the elbow more midline. So what this does is a couple of different stretches. It stretches tricep, and sometimes it can also get to that muscle group right at the back of the shoulder. If the head gets hunched forward, try to push the head back, sitting up tall. Doing a nice inhale. And then exhale, start to switch to the other side, grabbing the elbow. Find the position that will work for this side. Another inhale. Exhale, release. Our right hand is going to work its way up the back. Some people can get to the middle back. Some people can go all the way up to shoulder blades. Your second hand is going to help. So it could help by grabbing onto wrist. It could help by walking up to the forearm. Occasionally people can walk their way to elbow, but it's not anything that's stressful. It's the amount that will work. This one should be getting a stretch just straight onto that deltoid area. Sometimes it's nice to kind of tilt the head away from that shoulder, but you don't have to, it's up to you. Let's take one more breath for this side. As you release, work your left hand up as high up the back as it can go, and then right hand helps, whatever position that is. One more breath in and out. As you release, find what movements feel good for the shoulders. It could be shaking, it could be rolling and shrugging. Whatever feels helpful to loosen up some of that tension that we're trying to release. Good. So from here, let's make our way down to a kneeling position. Know that if your knees need a little bit more, we're going to be on our knees for just a little while, so you can always fold up the mat to add a little bit of padding. Perfect. So when we're in a cat-cow shape right here, this is going to be all about the shoulder blades. So when you round up like a cat, let those shoulder blades slowly go away from one another. And then when you start to drop the belly down to cow, let the shoulder blades kind of gently squeeze a bit. Good, and we'll gently take that back and forth, up and down. Shoulder blades away. And shoulder blades squeeze. Let's take one more. Let's slide back to neutral. I'd like us to tuck our right toes, and then we're going to press back until we feel a right calf stretch. So sometimes people can get into that stretch with this left knee down. Sometimes people have to lift up a bit higher. So it's whatever it takes to get that gentle stretch in the calf. Let's start to switch sides. Left toes tuck, and then press until we feel the left calf stretch. Lowering back to knees. We'll allow this left arm to reach there to the sky for a moment. And then thread that shoulder all the way down to rest on the floor. The side of the head is resting down. You can choose what to do with this right hand. It can stay, it could reach forward, or it could wrap around the back. Any of them are perfectly fine. It just depends on how your body's receiving the shape. Beautiful breath all the way into belly. And exhale. That right hand returns in front of the face. If it moved, press into it. And it may be nice to take another one of those cat cows, getting those shoulder blades to spread. And then that gentle release down. Good. So we're back to neutral. This time right arm reaches up to sky. And then thread that shoulder to the floor. And choose what to do with the left hand. One more deep breath, flow all the way through. And slides in, press into it. Take a gentle cat. And a cow. Good, one more stretch on our knees. We're gonna take our right leg out in front of us. And the idea here to give that calf another brief little stretch is to let the toes be pulled toward us as much as possible. So sometimes I'll even take one of my hands on those toes to pull the leg toward me. Just leaning forward, we're in that really good hamstring stretch. It's okay if your leg is a little bent. If you feel that stretch in hamstring, you're in a perfect spot. So that breath easing our body with each cycle. To take this right leg back. Same thing for the left. It's out in front. Try to get the toes to stay lifted. Beautiful inhale. And then exhale, this leg can come back. If you folded up the mat, feel free to open it back out. When that's in place, we can return, traveling down onto our belly. We'll have the arms out in front of us, palms stacked, so that our forehead has a little pillow. Make sure shoulders are not going to ears, they're pressing down. I can get all the way down as far from ears as possible. And just feel the shoulders in such an open position. Feel our belly breathing into the earth. Nice massage for all those intestines. Starting to slide the right arm open up to that right side. Let the right cheek roll down onto the ground. Left hand comes in right under that left shoulder. Press into the left hand until we're in a shoulder stretch for that right shoulder. So sometimes people get all the way to the point of stacking hips. If not, that's okay. Sometimes people bring the top leg back behind, even plant it behind them. There's so much variety in how tight our shoulders are, so don't feel like you have to look like anybody else. One more breath for the right shoulder. And then going down to belly. Switch everything up to left. So left arm will extend, left cheek will come down. Press into the right hand until you feel that good left shoulder stretch. I try to keep head relaxed on the floor if possible. One more breath for this half. And easing back down onto belly. Press our way to child's pose. You choose if the shoulders want to stretch forward or if the arms just want to tuck back. Whatever feels best for the shoulders is fine. Finding hands underneath us, we walk our spine up. And then we're going to shift our hips over to the left. So the feet should be on the right side of us. Good. So right hand is going to hook around that right ankle. For just a moment, if possible, try to lift this left hand up to the sky and even arch over. Especially let this right ear drop to right shoulder for a moment. Because now left hand is going to slowly start to return down to the ground. And the closer it gets to the ground, the more it pulls that left shoulder into a really deep stretch. So maybe fingers touch the floor, maybe they hover right above it. But just feel the neck and that left shoulder in a very deep stretch. Try another inhale. Exhale. Head gently rises up. Once we're there, we'll work our way to the second side, whatever way you need to do to get there. Like swinging around the other direction. When you're there, left hand grabs left ankle. Start to reach this right arm up to sky. Tilt it over. And especially let that left ear go to left shoulder. As that right hand returns its way, and that slow journey down toward the ground, it pulls the whole right half, the shoulder, the neck, all of that stuff into a really beautiful stretch. Inhale here. Exhale, rise up with ease. The head, and then the legs will free themselves out in front of us. Let the feet be planted for a moment. We're going to try to see if we can clasp our hands around the shin area. And then our shoulder blades round backwards. Our spine turns into the letter C. And we feel that spaciousness right in between shoulder blades. Now you won't want to rush right out of this stretch. The back muscles are in a really long shape. So take a slow journey to release. Beautiful. Allowing ourselves to find just an easy cross-leg shape again. This time we'll try to clasp our hands behind our back. And our hands will shift either to the right hip or to the right side of the waist, whatever you can reach. From here, let the right ear drop back down to right shoulder. Similar stretch to what we just did a moment ago, maybe even deeper. Good. Start to roll the chin down to the chest as the hands kind of release back to the middle of the back. Good. So head just drops down heavy. And lift the head up. Hands over to left hip or left waist. Left ear to left shoulder. This time when we roll the chin to the chest, let the hands roll behind our back, but then release the hands. Hands can either just stay resting down at our sides, or if you would like to clasp hands and then place the hands behind the back of the head to weigh the head down, that could be an additional option you choose this time. Another inhale. Exhale again, slow, easy release. Feel the spine lift up tall. And as we're here, feel that weightlessness in our back. If it felt like the weight of the world was on our shoulders before, now we're completely free of it. It's just us in this present moment, feeling spacious, feeling open. Just take a deep inhale and exhale. Good. Let's start to return our way back onto the floor, laying on our spine, laying on the back. When we're there, take just another moment. Let the left leg just drop down all the way to the floor. And we're going to hug hands around the right knee. We'll take 2 or 3 breaths, pulling that right knee in as close as it wants to go to right shoulder. Good. Then reverse the energy. The arms are loose, and the knee starts to push into the clasped hands. That'll pull the shoulders once more into a stretch forward. Take a good inhale. Exhale, release. The right leg drops to the floor. Let's change the clasp of the fingers so that the non-dominant thumb is in front. And then left knee comes in. Start off trying to pull that left knee to the left shoulder. Reverse the energy. The knee pushes into the hands until the shoulders are jutted forward into a stretch. Good. And as we release, set the shoulders up in a way that feels extremely spacious. Shoulders could be, hands sliding up, arms at our sides, whatever it is that feels spacious. Maybe even walking shoulder blades under. That's fine. Set up the legs in a way that just feels good for you today. It could be on the floor long. It could be returning to feet planted. Whatever feels good. And here, we begin to ease our way into our Shavasana for today. Feel this ease in the shoulders. Feel the weightlessness of the body. It's like instead of the world weighing us down, it's almost like we're weightless against the world. We could almost just float away. Let that breath be that weightless quality, just easing in, comforting out. breathe here for several minutes. Try to allow body to just continue to find this ever deeper relaxation. Or begin to take a little bit deeper breath. Introduce little movements to the fingers and the toes, ankles and wrists. Stretching out like we're starting to wake up first thing in the morning. Your time, maybe eventually take a fetal position off to one side, if that's comfortable for your spine. With this kind of weightlessness, don't feel in any sense of rush to rise up. Maybe enjoy another 3 or 4 good deep breath cycles until sooner or later you feel ready to come all the way up. No rush. So as we arise, our hands are together in front of our heart. We reconnect to that idea that we started with, the idea of Atlas. And now we've taken the world off of our shoulders. And so as we go forward into the same responsibilities we had before this class, same family and relationship, work and friendship type situations, we realized we don't have to take all of that weight onto us. We can share, we can communicate, we can just take one step at a time. So in this way, we're still getting all the same things done, just with less tension in our body. Namaste.